stitching of this one remains this. So when you get to this stage, the next thing to do is to know the spot. You want to create your groove. So if you have a groover, stitch groover, or you can buy the tool and then use it. You mark it. For this one, I used half inch. The half inch is about 1.3 centimeters. So that's what I used. I measured from the edge inward. So I traced it all around. Let's say I traced it using. Excuse me. So I traced it using a faint material. So if you have a groover, you can just place the groover to the edge and determine the spot you want to start from. In this case, I started from here. So you use the groover to create the stitch channel at a go. But if you don't have a groover, so this utility knife is what I use. As it is, I trace the spot. Then you need to be careful. Here so that you will not cut too deep. Then one advantage of the groover is that your work is going to be straight. Yeah, the line you are going to create is going to be straight. Like if you are using manual cutting like this, you have to be careful. But the good part is that this part that I sounded is I want to put a sole protector there. So even though this is a cement construction sole and stitch, as the blade stitch, this shoe is going to last long, in the sense that if this one wears out, the owner will just take it to a shoe repair shop to get it replaced. And if this place too wears out, they can easily get the heel replaced and repolish the shoe. And yeah, so basically, so that's that for now. And another thing of importance is that after creating the channel, for this particular stitch, I used the distance. I used between each stitch is half inch or 1.3 centimeters. So that's this you can reduce it. You can use maybe a quarter. That's 1/4 of an inch. You can use 1/4 of an inch or 3/8, preferably 3/8. The distance is not going to between each hole is not going to be this wide. So, and it makes it look neater in a way and all like that. Of course, this one is neat too. It is evenly spaced, but it's not bad if you have a distance, this short distance, and another. So what that means is that you're going to have more holes to stitch through. And another thing that I used is that using stitching how the jack how to stitch through this place is difficult if you don't have a sew stitching machine. But those that can afford to buy a sew stitching machine, it's easy for them to buy and for them to stitch this. But if you don't have a sew stitching machine, so what I did was to get a flexible wire like this, or just a flexible wire or anything flexible that is thin, that will not break. So you create the holes around the spot you want to stitch, and instead of your how, you use this. I folded it into two. Then you use this to pick the threads, and it's quite easy. When you put it inside here, it is long, so it will come to the back, and you use it to pick your thread. So I don't know if you can see this well, but this is the first time since that I'll be doing a blade stitch by hand like this. What I used to sew is a cup sew, a sneaker sew. So yeah, so basically that's that. I will show part of the processes here and for this leg, so that we have a sense of what I'm saying. I carefully used this knife, to do this until I got to this place. So the next thing I want to do is that I want to widen the surface. Okay. You have to be careful. So what I'm doing here is that I want to cut this. I want to cut this out. So carefully, you cut it out carefully. So the purpose is to widen the group. If it is a group you are using, this is the type of, or maybe this is what you're going to have. It's going to be as white, and then you don't have to worry when you stitch through. The stitch is going to cover it all. Yeah. So cut it out. So have it here. And, try to widen it correctly. So, like I mentioned, we are going to mark the stitching holes here where we're going to stitch. The guidance, we're going to mark it here. And I used half inch for this. I used half inch for this one. That is why the distance is a bit. It's a bit so. It's a bit much. It is wide. So now I'll be using. I'll be using half inch for this leg as well. So subsequently, I would reduce the wideness maybe to like 3/8 and third of an inch. That's let's say from this goes 1, 2, 3, or even a quarter of an inch. But let's just say third of an inch. So I want to, since I don't have a stitching house like those strong ones that I use for the inseam and the housing that I use for video, so I want to use this to punch the holes. Okay, I'll use it to punch the holes around. Then after I'm done punching the holes, I'll start stitching. So that's the next thing I want to do. So okay, so